Today is cold and gross and gray and threat of rain and oh, by the way, good Abernathy. Um, yeah, maybe I'll find the motivation to go out later. Maybe I won't, but right now I'm too cold to go outside, she says without putting on a sweater or any other warming implement. And again, I haven't had food today either, and it's like, yeah, it's 1:30, so should probably get on that. So as I'm making my brunch, which features very heavily the watermelon, I've been watching or listening to the latest "The Show Must Go On" thing from Andrew Lloyd Webber, which this weekend is just like a greatest hits concert that they did. I'm guessing in the early 2000s with like the makeup and the lighting and all of that. It is definitely not of this day. Blurry, thank you. Uh, but the one that's up right now, they're doing Phantom. Like, the Phantom of the Opera is there inside your mind. Da, 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 da. And all of that. And it's Sarah Brightman, who's the originator of Christine. Cool. But then, look who's playing the Phantom. Can you sing it, though? It's so dramatic. Okay. Look at that. Okay, so he's like actually got the chops. He's got that tenor. The Phantom. He's got it, but just like it's Zorro. The slick, and he's taking like these very tiny steps backwards. And keeping that eye contact, just drawing you in as a phantom would do because I am so sexy. Which is a reference to 90s SNL, Chris Kattan. I know my references. There's far too much cheese on my breakfast. Too late, nom nom. I'm such a weirdo. Okay, I have a mini rant to do here. I'm gonna need the full movement of both hands. Just warm up a little bit. So after watching the Andrew Lloyd Webber thing retrospective, I guess, of all this stuff, and I definitely skipped the songs I don't care about cats. But yeah, it the YouTube clip auto rolled into more scenes from Phantom, which is like, oh, the music is such a swell, and Ramin Karimloo, I've already said his name so much because I love him ever so much. But then it auto rolled into Love Never Dies, the Phantom sequel, and I totally forgot to watch Love Never Dies when it was on the Show Must Go On platform a couple weekends ago. It just slipped my mind. So I wasn't familiar with the story. All I knew was the first paragraph on the Wikipedia page. That was 10 years after Phantom originally. There's now a big spectacle in New York on Coney Island called Phantasma. Real slick, real subtle. Couldn't see where that's coming from at all. But Christine and her husband Raoul and their son Gustav are invited over to come sing at, I think it's Oscar Hammerstein's new thing, but it's secretly run by the Phantom. Oh, except apparently it's been made more into a freak show carnival sort of thing, which already I'm not loving. There's a pigeon on my windowsill. Don't brook with that. And that's all I knew of Phantom, because already that was too much for me. I was like, this is extreme. But then, get off my windowsill. Don't want you here. I don't want them to poop on my windowsill. That's why I'm so extreme about it. But okay, so the first video that came up was the Phantom singing "Till I Hear You Sing," which is the big Phantom number, and I was like, okay, a little obsessive, but he's just singing to himself, kind of in his own little world. He's a spurned wannabe lover. I was like, I don't love it. He's a little creepy, but whatever. And then it connected to Under a Moonless Sky, Under a Moonless Night, During a Moonless Night, something moonless, but it's a Phantom Christine duet. And it turns out, the night before Christine's wedding to Raoul, she goes and finds the Phantom. They hook up, in the conjugal sense, a couple of times. And then she runs off before he wakes up. And I'm like, So then that leads you to believe that Gustav, the little boy, is not Raoul's son, like in a legal whatever marriage for the times. He is the, let's keep the word careful here, bastard of the Phantom. And then it all comes out that, so then I went and read a synopsis, like a shortened synopsis of the full story, and apparently the reason that they're in New York in the first place is that Raoul, rich and handsome and romantic Raoul, has gambled and drank and spent all of his money away, so they're broke, and then Christine is the one having to support the family with her beautiful voice, and she ends up, like, going back to the Phantom somehow? Okay, so let's just wrap this back a second. Christine, her father dies at a young age, when she's young, and probably when he's young too. She gets kidnapped by the Phantom, like, multiple times. She tries to, like, express her fears to Raoul on the rooftop, and he's just like, oh, you're so silly, but I do love you, though. And she's just like, oh, a man to protect me, hurrah! And then later, she gets kidnapped again, and people are killed for her, not her benefit, but, like, in her name, which she did not want. And then later she's like, oh, I have to choose between saving my lover or spending time down here. I don't understand the choice that's offered at the end of Phantom, honestly. But in any case, she has to, like, make a choice between the Phantom or Raoul, and she chooses the one that seemingly is the good choice. Little does she know. And then later she's brought to financial ruin by her partner. She is potentially physically molested at some point, is what I read. Like, at one point she faints in the catacombs under the opera house, and it's led to believe that the Phantom maybe got a little frisky at the wrong time, which is not great. And then later, she essentially submits to Stockholm Syndrome and goes and gets jiggy with I almost said the Beast. That's a different Broadway musical, with the Phantom. And then, but she has a baby who is then later kidnapped himself by a woman who is in love with the Phantom and spurned by him. Too many shapes, too many triangles and pentagons, and this is too much. And then, spoiler alert, as though this whole clip hasn't been a spoiler alert already, the jealous woman who kidnapped the child then is gonna, like, lets the child go, gets a gun, wants to kill herself because she's so miserable, misses somehow, and shoots Christine? What the fuck? This woman has had absolutely no good in her life. If there is a woman in the world who needs feminism, it is Christine Daae. And, like, a lot of other women in the world, let's be honest, women do not have it great in terms of equality. But, like, I do not think Andrew Lloyd Webber likes women. Is there a show that Andrew Lloyd Webber has been involved in significantly where women come out on top? No, really. I want to know. Like, Evita? Don't think so. Joseph? Only woman in there is, like, nameless wives and the narrator, who is sexless, for all intents and purposes. Cats? Low. No, I don't think he likes women. I'm pretty sure he's a misogynistic pig. Can't say it. Misogynistic pig. I don't like him, but I do like some of the songs. Okay, rant over. Yes, I am very sweaty. I never ended up going out for my walk today because I didn't want a chance with the rain. So instead, I continued doing the Thriller dance. And I know it's not the most acrobatic of dances. I'm not a dancer, though, so I'm allowed to be worn. I have very limited dance space. As you can see, I've already pushed back as much as I could. So it's been a lot of, like, step forward a couple things, then hop back really quick so I can step forward again. Yeah, I'm definitely going to shower after this. Woo! Okay. Step 1, do a good Thriller dance. Learn the choreography. Step 2, get your hair straight. Get it secure. Don't let it be wobbling all around the place. Then you're doing some head snaps, and that's going to distract you. So, lock it down. Alright, I am showered and changed and generally clean, and I've gotten into a really bad habit of not looking at what time it is, and then looking at the clock and it's like 8:05, but I've missed the applause. So I'm just gonna say, good boy. I'm just gonna say officially, yay! Although I don't think that the proper way to acknowledge the work of our essential workers is by applauding. I think it's by giving back to them, but that's for another day. I'm very much crouched down in a very uncomfortable position. I have a bowl, I have an envelope, I have another envelope. Let's try to make pizza. How do I do this? In a bowl, pour the content, 1 packet, make a well, put the envelope of yeast, and then warm water and olive oil. Okay, so 15 cl of warm water, 3 cuillères à soupe tablespoons of olive oil. I gotta measure that. Okay, let's see if I can do this all seamlessly. I have done my mise en place like a real chef, meaning I put my water in a thing. By the way, I got this at a music festival, Rock on Seine, which is probably not going to happen this year, but it very handily has centiliter measurements on the side, I assume for the bartender, that really help me out when I'm using European recipes. So thank you, Rock on Seine, the music festival. But anyway, here we go. Okay, so just gonna, this is the easiest baking proportions ever, because you literally just put all. Is that it? Okay. And then make a well. I have washed my hands, by the way, and I did just get out of the shower. Okay, so then the yeast goes into the well. Okay. Shake it, shake it. Smells like yeast. And then the warm water. And the olive oil. And so it's about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. You know what? To me, that's about 3 tablespoons. So we're just going to go with a little, I'm going to eyeball this here. 1, 2, 3. Whoa, that's all of it. Yay, emptying a bottle. Huzzah. Another thing to take the recycling once it's been washed out. Huzzah. And then, mélange quelques minutes avec une cuillère en bois. Okay, I find that it's usually best to start with your hands when it comes to dough, because then you can like be more sure that you're breaking up the clumps. This is a very funny sensation. Can you hear Stephen Colbert in the background? I just let it autoplay on YouTube. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to change to the spoon now. Alright, wooden spoon is hard at work. This is not quite a ball of dough yet. This is more a blob. So I think they want me to stir it with a wooden spoon until it becomes a ball. What they didn't say is that the wooden spoon is basically going to be doing the kneading job. I don't know why they didn't just say knead with your hands, but I'm going to try it with the spoon and then eventually get fed up and use my hands again. Focus, please. Yeah, look at this. This is not pizza dough. This is way too tacky to work. I think it needs to be kneaded. It needs kneading! You see this? It's not even coming away. See, that comes from kneading and a little bit of bench flour. Gotta love my bench flour. So, the recipe, or the box says to just spread it out with your fingertips, which to me seems like a very bad idea, because I can already feel, I can already feel that there's some parts that are thinner than others, and I really want to use a rolling pin, but I don't want to get it out and then wash it later. So, I'm going to have to go by feel. This is slightly sticky again. I just don't know if I trust this. I have also made the grave mistake of pushing it too close to the edge here, so now I've got to try to pull all of the thick that's here this way. This is possibly a disaster. All right, well, there's no way I'm going to get it into a circular shape, so I think just a very long, slightly oblong cylinder of a pizza is what's going to be coming out of this. I'm also going to blind bake it a little bit. I don't have a pizza pan, which is the kind that has like the holes underneath to help the air get underneath and cook the bottom too. So the best thing that I've found is to kind of pre-cook it in the oven first without any of the sauces or cheese or anything else to make it liquidy, because that way this part of it doesn't get super soggy when all of that is added. So we're just going to blind bake this a few minutes and hope that it doesn't go to absolute shite. Well, Do you know what? It seems to have set up pretty well. And though it was really sticking to the parchment paper before, it is separating quite nicely. So yeah, I'm going to top it. Okay, taking a quick break because I was seeing some fluttering against the cabinets. Do you see this? Focus, please. That is like, I can't tell if it's a butterfly or a moth. Just hanging out in my kitchen. I can't focus because I'm zooming so much. If I come over here, that's, can I see it? Oh, this is a very bad way to try to film it. You see that? Little sticking out there, little friend? No way, the light is too bright. So, I mean, you can obviously see it there. I don't, it's not grossing me out. It's not like annoying me, but this is not where you live, friend. I can't keep it in frame and look at it off camera. Thanks for coming by. I think I'm just gonna open the kitchen window and let you try to get your way out. Okay. Okay, so I've let it cool a little bit coming out of the oven. Look at that. It does look baked all the way through. Had a little bit of time, a dibble of a time detaching it from the parchment paper, but that's kind of my fault. I let it crease a little bit under the dough. So sometimes the parchment paper is kind of like folded into the bake a little bit, so I'm going to have to detach it somehow. But for the on-camera shot, I mean, okay, it's tomato sauce and cheese and toppings. Like, it is nice. Yeah, it's fine. It's not much different from making your own pizza dough. This one doesn't have to rise or like prove or anything. It's nothing vastly different than what you would get from like a prepared pizza dough that's like a roll, and all you do is unroll it and just lay it out. I don't know. I'm glad that I tried it, but I don't necessarily think I would jump on the opportunity to do it again. But I mean, I've got another packet of dough, flour, and all that in there, so probably gonna do it again in the near future. Well, once again, I have managed to have a family chat and not remember to record any of it, so that's great. Daughter slash granddaughter slash niece slash cousin movement on my end. Yeah, it's like 11 now. Oh, May 3rd. Happy birthday, Grandma. Oh, wait, we were wrong. The call. But I think I'm going to try to just edit this together real quick. I'm noshing on some, I almost said lemon, some watermelon. And then I will upload, which is going to maybe be a long one today, because, oof, I ranted, and then I danced. And I ranted about how I danced off camera. God, why are janky men always trying to abuse poor women? Anyway, goodbye. Good night.